Welcome to another GetResponse webinar. Today our guest is Ian Cleary. Ian is the founder of Razor Social, a digital marketing agency and a marketing technology blog for B2B marketers. It's one of the top marketing blogs out there. He's exactly the kind of person to talk about Autofunnel.
Thank you, Irek. Welcome everybody. It's great to have you all here today. So hi from Dublin. And by the way, I just seen somebody, Juan from Venezuela, come in there, and I had my honeymoon in Venezuela many years ago. So lots of good memories there. So you're very welcome, everybody, today. So we're going to be talking about building out sales funnel, optimizing, improving a sales funnel to try to generate more sales online. And as part of this, I'll show a quick demo of Autofunnel, of a typical funnel as well. So at the end of this session, so it's about 45 minutes, at the end of the session, we'll do Q&As. There is a video recording, so Irek will make the recording available, but make sure to hang in right to the very end because we've lots of practical tips and everything. If you got questions, just pop in the questions and we'll keep note of them. And we may answer a couple during the presentation, but most will be done at the end. Okay. So everybody can hear okay, I assume. So if somebody types in yes, just to say you can hear me okay, that'd be great. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, what's a basic funnel? So your basic funnel is traffic, leads, and sales. So you want to generate some good traffic, and we will talk a lot about generating relevant traffic and splitting out that traffic. So not all traffic is the same, so we might need to split that out. Some traffic we generate, we can direct people straight to a sales page, but generally what we want to do is build leads, and then from them leads we'll generate sales. So this is your most basic funnel. You generate traffic, you get leads, and then you generate sales from the end of this. Now, if we looked at the steps involved, so I've identified 5 steps, and we're going to go through these in detail. So let's just quickly look at what the 5 steps are. So first of all, it's about identifying and segmenting an audience to make sure you look and clearly identify who are the target audience, and you segment that into different groups. And I'll explain later why that's so important. Then you want to qualify that audience and figure out which one of these could be potentially interested in your product or service. And then once you find out that they're interested, then you start nurturing them, and that could be done through email. So you want to keep in contact and keep them engaged. Then you make an offer, and then you bring maybe to a sales page. And if somebody buys, well, then you want to think about customer retention. So there's no point in signing up everybody for sales, and within a couple of days they decide that's enough, I'm going to look for my money back. You might have a 30-day money back guarantee, and they look for their money back. So it's really important to think about the funnel from the very start when you're identifying the audiences and all the way through to after somebody buys, to make sure you continue that communication as well after somebody buys. Now, normally when we're launching something, so if we're launching a brand new funnel to sell a product or service, we think about the pre-launch phase, the launch phase, and the post-launch. So for example, on the pre-launch phase, I think this is where a lot of people lose out a lot of sales, where they say, I want to sell a product, start building out the funnel, and then start offering it to their existing email subscribers or website visitors. But you really need to think about the pre-launch phase, and way before you launch your products for sale, start building your lists. So here's a couple of examples of how to build a list. Create relevant content. So for example, through your blog, you might start creating really relevant content that's related to your products and services that's going to attract in a potential audience. So you want to reach out and target your potential audience, and by creating this relevant content, this can help a lot. Now, another way of list building is building email subscribers. So for that relevant content, I'll show you a very good tactic for building a very high conversion rate of email subscribers for content you create. So you're creating related content, and on that post itself, you're trying to build your email subscribers. because email subscribers is a great audience to reach out to when you do actually launch your product or service. So still extremely important, your email subscribers. Another option is build Facebook retargeting audiences. All that means is if you set up some blog posts related to your products and services, you can capture the fact that they've visited that blog post. They may not have signed up for as an email subscriber, or they may have, but either way, you can capture the fact that they've went to that page and you build up an audience of these people, and then you can advertise to them on Facebook. So Facebook gives you a little piece of code, you put it on your website, it tracks all the visitors, and then you can target them. So you're showing ads to people that visited content that's directly related to your product or service. Another way of pre-launch is just teasing people to what's coming. So before you launch any product or service, you might tease people and say, hey, you know, in a couple of weeks' time, we're launching this really special product or service, and it's about X. And then say, if you're interested in signing up and being notified before anyone else, or if you want to be notified as a VIP person to be on our VIP list to get notified, please enter your email or click a link. What you're trying to do is build up that interest list, create a bit of excitement before you actually launch. So then when you do open up your page and say, hey, everybody can sign up now, that's on the VIP list, people feel they're part of this exclusive list. So this is a great, great way of generating sales. So really think about your pre-launch before you open up that sales page. Think about the pre-launch. Now, I'm going to show you Autofunnel, GetResponse's Autofunnel tool for building out a sales funnel. And part of that funnel is having an opt-in page where somebody can opt in to become an email subscriber. So you can open up that part of the funnel and not have a sales page at this stage, just have an opt-in page. And you can do all the tracking. So I will show you that later on as well. So think about the pre-launch, and then on the launch, then you start reaching out to different audiences. Again, this is not one email to every audience. It's different emails targeted at specific groups of people. So a specific group of people could be the list of people that said, I want to be a VIP. I want to know about this product launch before anyone else. That's a hot list of people. That's a good list of people. So target warm audiences. Warm audience could be your email subscribers that you're engaging with on a regular basis. They could be considered a warm audience. Target hot prospects. Again, this is a separate list. So existing customers are a good way of generating more sales. So again, this is a separate email sequence. It's more than one email. It's an email sequence specifically targeted at customers. Now, the last option is targeting cold audiences. A cold audience is somebody that may not have heard about your product or service or your company before, and they're harder people to actually target, a cold audience. So what you want to do is, as much as possible, build up an interested list, build your warm audience, build up your customer list, and they're the ones you really go after initially. And then when they're all targeted, then think about the cold audiences. And the cold audiences where you may run an ad on Facebook, for example, you go to send people to an opt-in page initially before a sales page. It may be difficult to send them straight to a sales page, but you could send them to an opt-in page, which is just a page where they put in their email address and they opt in to get a guide or a video or training series or something free, and encourages them to sign up. Then the last phase is post-launch. So we're inclined to do this when we do a launch, and hands up, I've done it before as well, where you do spend all your time launching a product or service, and then when it's all launched, then you sort of start taking it easy after that. But it's really important to follow through and look at the post-launch. So the post-launch is looking at engaging customers, the customers that signed up, to make sure they're not going to look for their money back. They're not going to say, hey, I signed up for a trial, I want to cancel, or I got the product and I wasn't happy. So you really need to make sure they're happy. And also another thing to consider post-launch is an alternative offer. What you can say is, listen, our sales period is closed down. We close it down to this specific date, but here's an alternative offer. And sometimes you see alternative offer where people say, well, actually, all we've done is introduced a payment plan. So you've made an offer for a product for $500 and people think it's too much. If you come back and say, well, now we've introduced just a payment plan and the payment plan is 3-part payment, that's a good alternative offer. And again, you will generate some sales for that. Okay, this all making sense so far? I hope so. I see Hola from Chile. Hello. So lots of people still connecting in from different countries. Okay. Somebody mentioned there they missed the first minute. Yes, there's a recording as well, so which is great. Okay, so let's go through the 5 steps I talked about of the considerations when you're building out this funnel. So identifying and segmenting the audiences. I talked about this where you need to look at the different audiences that you want to build. Website visitors is one audience. You need to make sure that it's website visitors that visited certain parts of your website that are related to your product or service. So when I said Facebook can give you a little piece of code, you put on your website and it tracks all your visitors. When you go to Facebook to run an ad, you can say, I only want to target people that visited these pages and didn't visit other pages. So you can target specific parts of your website, visitors to specific parts. That's a great way of generating your leads and then ultimately sales. Really focus in on email subscribers, especially during pre-launch phase. So, okay, sorry, there's somebody said, Steve said there's a problem with the mic. Not sure. Let me know, anybody, if there's problems with the mic. Iraq, you might let me know if you know there's an issue with the mic. So we're identifying and segmenting audience. So website visitors, email subscribers. Mic is fine.
Yeah, the sound is good. The mic is fine, so no worries.
Okay. Phew. Getting worried.
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay. So we want to build those email subscribers. The pre-launch phase is really important to build those email subscribers. And I'm going to give you a very good tactic for building those email subscribers in a second. Your customers are really important. And then it's the cold audience. The cold audience, people that may not have heard of you before. So think about the other groups first. But break out these audiences. And before you launch a funnel, think about how you're going to build each of those audiences. So then you can create your email sequences targeting each specific type of audience and driving them over to your sales funnel. Okay, so here's a tactic for generating a lot of email conversions on a specific blog post. So I said earlier on that you're creating blog posts that are directly related to your product and service. So this blog post is about finding influencers and measuring influence. So if I was selling something related to social media, this could be a good blog post to attract people interested in social media. Now, but what I've done within the blog post is at the very start of the blog post, I say, hey, if you don't have time to read this post, it's a long detailed post, what you can do is download a summary of this post. Now, because this is directly related to the blog post, typically you'll get up to 10% conversion for that. So 10% conversion rates, which is pretty high for an opt-in within a blog post. Now, how do I boost that up to 15%? Well, if somebody exits that blog post, I know that they haven't signed up for email there. So then I can show a little pop-up, and on the pop-up it says, hey, now I'd say download this guide again. So it gives you another opportunity to download it. I use slightly different words, but I'm providing the exact same guide, which is just a summary of the post. And this means my conversion rates go from 10% to 15%. You can get a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but around 15%. So you think about it, you're creating this relevant content, really targeted at your product or service, And when you're driving people here to build an audience, you're building lots and lots of email subscribers. And these are the ones that are going to be good for potential sales when you really launch your funnel. So continue nurturing that and growing that list. So you need to qualify your prospects. So when you start building those lists, how do you qualify your prospects? So one could be, hey, join our pre-launch list. So I talked about a VIP list. You know, people like to be on a VIP list. They're important enough to be on this list. So it's nice to go onto a VIP list. You may, if this is an expensive product, you could be selling a product that's, you know, really expensive. And you might do one-to-one outreach over phone or email, just targeting these people. Or you might do something like opt in to something relevant. So what you want to do is go, okay, you've built your email subscribers and you're saying, well, I want to see if they are really interested in this product or service. So I send them to an opt-in page, something like this. So what I want to do is, this is an opt-in, say, hey, want to take better photos, download this guide about taking better pictures. And this person is selling a photography course. Now, I use a photography course as an example. This could be any type of course or training. It could be a physical product you're selling. You know, it doesn't have to be an information product, could be easily a physical product. If you're selling a physical product, maybe, for example, you are selling, you know, a service which provides all sorts of brochures, physical brochures for people. So this opt-in could be, hey, do you want to get free business cards or low-price business cards? It could be a low-price offer you're sending to. So it could be something to buy something for a couple of dollars. Then you know that your next offer could be for $100 or $500. But I want to qualify them here. So that's what I'm doing here with just an opt-in. Now I have a list, and if I'm using Autofunnel, that's building that list for me, and it's tagging that list so I know that these people opted in for this specific guide, so I can retarget them at a later stage. Now you could also have different opt-ins available and see which works best. And then you can start running ads to the different opt-ins. Okay, so then what you want to do is, once you start building, you know, an interested list, you may not have launched your sales page at this stage, or maybe you have. So you could send people, when they opt in, you could send them straight to a sales page, and they may not be interested at that stage. Or maybe you don't send them to a sales page because your offer is not open yet. So you do want to think about nurturing your email subscribers. So that's sending a series of emails to your email subscribers after they opt in. You want to keep them warm and interested. So the opt-in has provided something interesting and valuable to them. It's nice to build that relationship by providing some content about you and your company, but also more valuable content, sharing more valuable content. Keep them interested and keen. So it could be educational content that's relevant to your offer. It could be some case studies that are valuable, or testimonials. So you could say, by the way, you know, here's some of our customers that had this experience, the product or service. If you have a story about your customer, and in that is a testimonial from the customer, that can be really relevant as well. A link to your offer where relevant. So within your email, you know, you can quite often then link to the offer. Or you can do things like run webinars to your list. So webinars can be a great way of educating an audience, but also then making an offer to an audience as well. So if people are going to spend 30 or 40 minutes on a call, that's great, because you've got time to build a relationship, share something really valuable, and then there may be an offer or not at the end of it. So that's a good way of nurturing and educating your email subscribers. So you need to continue that process of nurturing your email subscribers. Okay. So then you make the offer. So the offer is just the next page within your sales funnel. You can offer it immediately if your funnel or your sales is open at the moment. If your product's available for sale, you can offer it immediately. or you could just send them to a thank you page when they opt in. Now, when you make that offer, you want to make it very clear what the offer is, very clear what the offer price is. You definitely want to include some testimonials. And if you're including testimonials, if you can get a picture of the person, that works really well, improves conversion. If you have their full name, that works well. And if you have their actual, if it's a website address, for example, or some sort of contact information, or at least location of where they're based. So the more information you provide about that person, the better. And having an image associated with that person really helps people say, well, actually, this is a real person. So it's really important to, when you're making that offer, have some testimonials of similar customers. Now, if you're targeting very different audiences, you could have 2 sales pages with different testimonials. And using a tool like Autofunnel makes it very easy to set up 2 sales funnels. Very easy to set it up. So it's not really a problem. And then you can see which is working better and send audiences to different pages depending on the type of audience that they are. Okay. Then, so once you show them the offer, then it's directly to a sales page. Ideally, you're not designing this sales page yourself. You're using a template by a recognized company that produces these sales pages, because the layout of these is really important. Now, on this one, you can see all the contact details on the left-hand side. We have what's included. We outline the bonuses, which really help improve conversion and make it quite a simple credit card process. And again, we show the testimonials on the right-hand side. And you'll see under the testimonial, there's a money-back guarantee and secure processing with a little icon there, which shows that it's secure. This is really important. People like to see this, that it is secure. It's really important. You think maybe just showing that image is not that important. Well, it definitely is very important as well to show that. Okay, retention was the last step, is just to make sure that after people sign up, there is an email follow-on sequence. We make sure people are using the product or service, make sure people are happy, because the cost of acquiring a customer is high, but if you can retain a customer, that's much lower in terms of cost. So make sure you're retaining customer. Now you might have, if you have an application or training or software, you might have support within the application. You might have provided some training for people afterwards. So it's important to consider after people buy, what you do after people buy. So then basically what you have then is a funnel. So this is a very basic funnel. This is showing an Autofunnel. Now, what I love about Autofunnel from GetResponse is that everything is in one tool. And this has been my problem and other people's problems over the years, is creating these funnels where you're using email marketing software, you're using conversion software to track all the conversions, you're using Google Analytics, you're trying to integrate with a payment processor, you have landing page software, and it makes it really complicated to set up a funnel. I think Autofunnel is probably the simplest way to set up a funnel, and it's just because it's so much easier, you can quickly set up a funnel and start generating revenue pretty quickly. So what I want to do is, I wanted to show you just a quick demo of a couple of minutes of just a funnel I've set up. I won't set up a full funnel, but I'll show you one that I've set up. So I'm just going to share our screen out here, and hopefully it all works. Okay, so I'm sharing the screen, so I'm going to show full screen. Okay, I think that's working, which is great. Okay, so here's an example of a funnel. Now, like I said, the biggest problem with other software is you're using multiple tools, which is painful. If it's painful to set up a funnel, you're less likely to do it. And most people that set up funnels don't have any tracking in place. And the most important thing is being able to track every stage of the funnel. Because I know where there's a problem, then I can go in and identify it and fix it. But the problem is not knowing that where the problem lies. Is it, that just means you're just losing sales. So you can see here is just a basic funnel where I have an opt-in page and I have a few visitors to that. And then when they opt in, I see the sign up rate. So 40% of people that went to the opt-in page signed up. And then you send an email sequence and I say, there was 2 sent, was a 50% open rate. So I think the open rate is pretty good. People are opening and 1 person is clicking. Then it's going to a sales page and there's only 1 unique visitor. And then I see it going to payment. So they're looking to buy now. And I had 1 visitor there. It was 100% abandoned. So people left the sales page without buying. Now, I haven't put enough traffic through this. So the next stage is to drive a lot of traffic to this. And if you listen from earlier on, I will send customers first, and then I'll send my pre-launch VIP people to the list. Then I'll send email subscribers, and I'll track these separately and see what are the conversion rates when I'm sending people. And once I'm looking at this, then I can start saying, hey, here's the problem with my email, or here's the problem with my landing pages. Now let's have a quick look at each page. So the landing page here. So if I go to edit that page, so I'm just going to edit that page. It's very, very easy to edit and update any of the templates. Now, what I've done with here is I've just selected a template. So there's a lot of different templates available from GetResponse. So you don't actually build your own template. You just use one of the templates and customize it. So you can see here it's an opt-in for a guide. So I can drag and drop things very easily here. I can go in and start changing text. I just type it in, change text and change colors. I have the fields here. On the right-hand side, if I wanted to add pictures, I can just drag things in. So I can drag that in, put a picture here, and I can replace it, delete it. So you can see it's very, very simple to do this. And when people are going to this page, it's tracked every visitor and every time a person opts in. And you can build a thank you page. If you're not sending people to the sales page, you can take them to the thank you page. Okay, so this, I was messing around earlier on, it's not aligned, so I just moved that up. So you can see it's very, very simple to edit this. So that would be just an opt-in page. And when you build an opt-in page, then the next stage after the opt-in page, you may want to create some emails. So I can see the stats here, the visitors. Then I go here to the email, and let me see if I just edit the email. Again, I can use a template. So this is an autoresponder when it goes on, and here's the template I've used. So I can go in there, and then I can start changing the template for email. And then after that, I might consider, okay, well, here I want to go have an offer page. So I create another page. And again, what I'm doing here is just selecting from a template. And when I select from a template, then I'm just customizing that template as well. And when you're in here, when you load this up, what you'll be able to do is do any changes to this page. You can then go, oh, actually, I want to see what it looks like on a mobile device. So I can start, you can see it's starting to tailor that for mobile device. I can adjust this image so it fits. So I can start dragging the image over and back so it fits within that. And now if I go back to my desktop version, and I can go in and customize this. Here's an order form. So that's the order form if somebody says, yeah, I want to buy. And you can see I have my testimonials here at the money back guarantee and secure processing. Now, I'm not building all this. This is what's great about it. I'm just using templates. The funnel is there. All I do is add a page here, add a page here. It's all automatically connected. I don't have to connect anything. And all the emails are going into the email database and tagged correctly. All the analytics is then tracked as well. So I connected to a payment there. And you can see that as I go through this, all the analytics are automatically tracked. I don't have to do anything at all. So simple. This is what I love about it. Yes, you could probably, buy 4 or 5 tools, do more complicated funnels, and maybe you'll have more options. But it's far too complicated to set up. I guarantee within 30 minutes to an hour, you will have your funnel set up and ready to generate sales. So very, very simple. Even quicker than that once you get used to it. So definitely worth having a look at Autofunnel. If you're really interested in set up sales funnel and you've thought, oh, what sales funnel sounds complicated, too many options, too many tools, too complicated, this is the way to go. And knowing your conversion rates, that's super, super important. I think I've been clear about that, is having those conversion rates is really what you need to have in place. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm going to stop sharing. And what I'll do is I'll stop sharing, and then I'm going to go back to my presentation. Okay, so hope you've seen there in terms of setting up a funnel, how you would do it, you know, the stuff you need to do at the start to build your subscriber list, build your audience, and then start building out your funnel and driving people to that funnel. And by understanding your conversion rates, you will generate a lot more money. Now, one thing that GetResponse recently added to the product is the ability to run Facebook ads directly within the product. So now you don't even have to go to Facebook to run ads. You can go to GetResponse and go, hey, this is the ad I want to run. This is the audience I want to target. This is the budget I have. Here's the content I want to display, and send them directly into the funnel. So you can do that all within GetResponse. Here's an example of the different audiences that you can pick. With this one I love as well. So I can say I actually want to target email subscribers that have been tagged with a certain tag. So for example, they were tagged saying they were people that opted in, or they were people that went to the sales page. So I can tag that. So it makes it very easy because it's all integrated. I can do it all within this tool. A lookalike audiences where you are generating good sales for a particular audience, say for example, your email subscribers, and you tell Facebook to give me an audience that's very similar to that audience. So people that are likely to buy, that are very similar to your existing customers. And again, you're running Facebook ads. If you have a custom audience, then it's finding audience based on specific criteria like demographics, interests, etc. You pick from that. Or maybe it's just people that like your Facebook page that you want to target. Again, you're doing this all within GetResponse, so you don't even have to go out to Facebook to do any of this. Okay, what I want to do is we talked a lot about optimizing conversions. So everything we talked about really was optimizing conversions, about picking the right audience, driving the right people, building the right content, optimizing conversion of email. But I want to cover off some more tips for this as well. Add incentives to take immediate action. People love incentives. So a discount does really work. For example, if you say there's an early bird and the date of this price stops at a specific date, people will buy because it's early bird. People will always buy if you say this is an early bird offer. If you reach out to your VIP audience and say this is an early bird offer just to you, that will get people buying. Urgency works. Closing now, only 100 left, booking out fast. You tell people there's only a specific amount left. That really works. The only thing I'd say is be honest about this. Don't say there's only 10 left, and then when 10 go, you offer 50 more. You can't do that. You have to say, you say there's 100 left, that's it. So urgency only works. You can't lose the trust of your audience, because next time you're running a sales funnel and you say there's only 10 left, they won't believe you. So don't do that, okay? Bonuses. So your extra guides and bonuses work really well. So if you offer something that's a bonus of something important, that works really well as well. Okay, split testing. Now, I didn't show you this in Autofunnel, but it's very easy to click a button and say, hey, show me 2 opt-ins, and send half the audience to one and half to the other. So this is just copying a page, and I'm changing the image. On this, all I did was change the background image. So I picked an image that Autofunnel had already, And within 30 seconds, I had a different opt-in page. So I have a female on the left and male on the right. I'll start driving people to vote and see what my conversion rates are. Whichever works best, that's the one. So if you want to optimize a conversion, having something allows you to easily split test, which is just showing two different opportunity offers to people. That is really important. Okay, change your offer. So change the opt-in that you provide. So we said, oh, for a photography course, we are providing a guide. Well, maybe we'll change that and say, let's try a photography course. We'll do the first part of the training course. So we give them something free and valuable, which is a training course. And it might be a short piece and the first step of all the training course. So that's something we may want to play with in terms of changing the offer that we're providing. So not just changing the text and image, we're actually changing the specific offer. Adjust your pricing. It's hard to get pricing right. And people will say, what is the right price for my product and service? And it's difficult. You need to test it. So you might test with a smaller audience first to see how people buy with that a particular price and try it. Or look at packaging up your product differently. You know, where you make two offers and two of your products and you combine them together for a reduced price. So you need to start thinking about changing the offer as part of your funnel. And the great thing is, because the easy bit now is setting up your funnel, it's easy now to start playing around with this thing. You know, with changing your offer and changing your pricing, and then you can look at your analytics. Without tools like Autofunnel, what you're doing is you're spending all your time setting up the funnel. And by the time the funnel is in place, you're so tired and fed up of setting up this funnel that you don't spend the time on optimizing. So our focus is more on optimizing the funnel than setting it up, because the setting it up is the easy peasy part. Okay. Social proof, we mentioned this. Robert Cialdini is a really interesting guy, has a really interesting book about persuasion, psychology of persuasion. Well worth reading when you're selling online. And it talks about the different tactics for persuading people to buy or take action. So definitely worth reading. But he said we view a behavior as more correct in a given situation to the degree that we see others performing it. That's why a testimonial works really well. That's why if you say in your sales page, we have 750 customers with 5-star rating, that works really well because people say, well, other people are getting the benefit and performing it. So it works so well. Dealing with objections in your copy is one thing to consider. Is when people think about, these are the type of things people think about. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. It won't work for me. I don't believe it. I don't need it. So think about these things in your copy. For example, it won't work for me. If you think about segmenting your audience and you're going after two different categories of people, we'll try to have testimonials that are relevant to that category of people. Because they're thinking, oh, okay, that works for large businesses, not small businesses. Well, if I get my targeting right, I'm going to send small business to a page. I'm going to have a testimonial from another small business. Sorry. So that really helps in the targeting side. You know, I don't believe it. Testimonials are going to help with that, or case studies. So you might have a testimonial on your sales page. You might have a case study in your follow-up email. So think about the objections in your copy. Now, I came across this. I can't think who came up with this. Pastor, it wasn't me, but it was a good way of thinking about your sales page. So a structure to your sales page and to cover off these points. What's the problem? So clearly identify the problem you're trying to solve at the very start of your sales page. Amplify the problem. So really go into detail about why is this such a big problem. Then start telling a story about maybe you had this similar problem or somebody else, and then you have found a solution to the problem. Then the next stage is transformation and testimonial. So you talk about other customers that had similar problems, and this is the result of them, what happened when they bought this product or service, and here's the testimonial of what they said after they bought it. And then the next stage is an offer. So then you make an offer then to the people, and then you get a response to that offer. And the response is yes or no. If it's yes, happy days, but we still follow up with email sequences, make sure they're happy. If the offer is no, we try following up with an email sequence, or we make an alternative offer. So think of the faster way of building out your sales page, and think about, are you including this? By including these, that's going to really help in terms of generating more sales. And number 8, is use tools to make it easy to create the funnel. So I do really like Autofunnel because it makes it very easy to create a funnel and set it up. And like I said, now I can start focusing on optimizing the funnel. Look at each step in this funnel and go, okay, less than 50% of people opted in. How can I increase that to 60%? If I increase the opt-in rate to 60%, I know at the very bottom, my $3,761 will go up, because I know what happens when people move through the funnel. I know the percentage that drop out. And now what I'm thinking about is, okay, how can I drive more relevant people into the funnel? Because if I drive 2,000 people in, I'm making 3,700. If I drive 4,000 people in, I know I'm going to make over 7,500. So using these tools to make it easy to set up the funnel and focus on optimization and make sure you know your stats. Okay, I think I am bang on 45 minutes. I hope that was relevant and interesting, and I really want to take some questions, which would be great. I think it'd be a great idea to sign up for a trial for Autofunnel, and just to see how you set up the funnel, how easy it is to set up a funnel. And actually, across the top of the screen, there's a cool feature in this webinar software which allows you to click on that link to create an account. So you can set up your free account, a test account, a trial account initially, to test out GetResponse with the Autofunnel. And like I said, what I love about it is you got your email marketing, your landing site software, your analytics, your opt-ins, your split testing, your integration with payment systems, all in one tool, and all super, super easy to set up. Okay, I hope you're going to set up your funnels. I hope you're going to ask some questions, and I hope that you enjoyed what we had so far. So looking forward to hearing some questions. Okay, so from Quentin Gates, Quentin said 30 minutes to an hour to set up a funnel. The last time I tried setting up a funnel, it took me 30 to 45 days to create the letters, generate the free products, etc. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, the setup of the funnel within Autoresponse is very simple. Yes, you do have to create your free products and everything. But the thing about the free products is it's more about, think about value as opposed to providing lots of things. For example, if I said to you, oh, I have a 50-page guide, well, you may never read that 50-page guide. It's too long. But if you shared a valuable checklist of 7 things to do, and they were easy enough to do, you're more likely to take it, download it, and implement it. So you don't always have to think about, creating free products or free opt-ins that take a lot of time. Think about the value you can provide and what is valuable to your audience. Okay, thanks for that. I have a question for you. My case is strange because if I collect email and start nurturing subscribers, when I present my offer, they don't convert. Otherwise, if I propose my offer right away when they visit my site for the first time, they buy the products. What I think is that the open rate of email are drastically reduced every day pass away. In the 7th day when I offer a product, then most people are now lost 70%. Okay. I mean, the great news here is that when you offer the product to somebody, they convert. So if I collect the email, start nurturing, when I present my offer, they don't convert. Otherwise, propose my offer straight away. When they visit, they do. Okay. So, I mean, that is great that people are buying the offer. What I would say is if people are buying the offer immediately on your site, well, then it's either a really good audience, or it might be a really good audience, or it might be a low cost offer that you have. And with that low cost offer, people are prepared to buy it immediately. If that is the case, then within your email sequences, I would try to encourage people, make sure in each email you give them the opportunity to go and buy again. If that's not working, then I would think about the emails to make an alternative offers within the emails to drive them back. So don't worry too much of sending lots of nurturing emails, because as you said, what's happened is you're sending 4 or 5 emails. By the time you get to the 5th email, the open rate is really low, so you don't get conversion. So they're buying on the site. Well, the first email should be reiterating what the offer is and making that offer again. The second email could be something valuable or useful, but you make that offer again because that's what's working for you. Okay, I hope that's useful. Thank you very much. Good question. What was number 7 at the end of your talk? I'd have to go back through the presentation, but maybe your rec would find out what number 7 was and share that in the chat. That's okay. Thanks, Scout. Okay, so we're going back to number 7. Okay, thanks, Rick. So number 6 is the pastor. On number 7, actually, did I skip number 7? That's what sorry about that. I skipped 7. Okay, so 7 was sales happen with follow-up. So, and this is actually when the last question came in before Gail's question, I said the first email should reiterate the offer. So if somebody goes to sales page and doesn't actually buy the product or service, well then reiterate, tell them the offer again in the first email, saying, hey, I noticed you're at the sales page, here's the offer again, and give them details. The second email could be just a closing in 3 days. This is if you've got a funnel set up where you have it open for a specific period, you want to create some urgency, so you reiterate the offer, you say closing in 3 days, closing in 24 hours, and then the 4th email could be closed and offer an alternative offer. So sorry, number 7 was make sure you do your email follow-up sequences. So thanks for that. Some tip for a real estate agency. Okay, you're putting me on the spot, Alejandra. Okay, so real estate agency. So a real estate agency, you want to get prospective clients to buy, real estate or make real estate available for you to sell. So for prospective buyers, have an opt-in, which is a guide to moving house. So if it's a really good detailed guide or if it's training material about moving house, well, then this is going to be really interesting to prospective people that are moving. And it's only interested in people moving house. So this is the great thing. People won't bother clicking on a Facebook ad about moving house if they're not moving house. So when you build the opt-ins, then you have a bunch of people about moving house. Then you can start running an email sequence saying, hey, if you're moving house, I'd love to talk to you, things like that. So think about that offer about a guide or a training course on moving house. And I think that's going to be really relevant to potential buyers. So if somebody else is looking to buy a house, well, the people moving house may be looking to buy a house as well, which is great. If somebody's looking to buy a house, well, then it's a buying a house guide, something that helps people buy a house. How do you get the best price for a house? Includes, where to look for a house, what to watch out for when buying a house, what are the legal implications, or it could be a legal guide about buying a house. So things like that. So think about those sort of opt-ins. I hope that was useful, Alejandra. Thank you very much. I get clicks on my product, but my landing page isn't converting. Okay, so you're making an offer in the email. It's going to your landing page and people are not converting. Well, the first thing you start split testing. And one of the starting points for split testing would be show 2 completely different pages. Because this is not working, okay, let's show something completely different and see what happens. And then you might find out, well, actually there's something on that page that's causing a problem. This completely different landing page is converting better. Now you can start split testing with that landing page. So start thinking about that and think about some of the points I shared earlier about, the pastor formula. Are you including everything in there? Thanks. That was from Eric Moss. Thank you very much. I have a small list and need to build more. Yeah, so a small target list, this is from Ray Ray, a small target list can still generate sales. You do not have to have thousands and thousands of email subscribers. If it's a very focused list and you're communicating with them, your open rates will be good and response rates will be good. You need to build more. If you blog, that's a good way of building email subscribers. But a shortcut to this is creating one really, really good, valuable guide in your industry and reach out to organizations that represent people in your industry that have a large list and say, by the way, I produced this really good, useful guide. I thought it might be interesting to your members, and give them a link. And that being a great way of getting their audience to your list. So if you got low traffic and you don't have a budget for lots of ads, think about the organizations that have access to the audience that you want to get access to and give them something valuable to their audience. You may even reach out to them and say, listen, I've produced this really valuable thing. I'd love to give this to the audience, but what I'm prepared to do is I'm going to put my company name and your company name on it. This is a win-win for everybody because they're providing something valuable. It didn't cost them any time or money to produce it, but you then get the email subscribers. Okay, thanks, Ray. Right? Okay, from Vincent Dubois. How do you drive large and relevant traffic to your first landing page? What is a good sample size with low volumes acquisition until you change your funnel and our A/B test? Great question, Vincent. So how do you drive large and relevant traffic to your first landing page? Well, from the previous question, you've seen that what we talked about, if you've got a large budget, you may run ads directly to it. And that means it's scalable because you can keep on sending lots and lots of people to your pages. But the problem is it's costly. If you don't have the budget, then you need to start and you don't have the traffic, you need to start looking at the audiences that you can get access to. So what influencers have an audience that you have access to, what organizations have, and look to see if you can partner with them in some way. What is a good enough sample size and low volumes acquisition until you change your funnel or A/B test? That's a good question, and there's lots of variables to that depending on the price and the audience and everything. But ideally, you would have at least a couple of hundred people going to your sales funnel to be really clear that which page is working best. So at least a couple of hundred people, to be honest, is really what you need. If you do 10 or 20 people, you just don't know in terms of what is going to work best. Okay, well, lots of great questions there. So thank you very much for all your questions. I think that may be the last question. Make sure to sign up for a trial. Sign up with GetResponse. So go to getresponse.com, or if we have a link, here's a link across the top. Again, this is cool. You just click on this link and go off and sign up for an account. Sign up for an account. Start playing around setting up a basic funnel. Send a few people into that funnel and look at your stats, and now you can say, okay, is this working for me or not? Then you can start, if it starts working, you start generating sales. You can start increasing the amount of people you drive into your funnel. So definitely worth playing around and setting up. So I hope that's valuable. I hope you set up your funnel. I'd love to hear stories about you setting up the funnel and generating more sales and optimizing and generating more sales again. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. And thanks for Eric and Oscar, who were helping out in the webinar.
Yep, cool. Ian, thank you so much for your awesome presentation. And thanks for sharing so many practical tips with us. Right, so guys, thank you for joining us and being such an active group. Don't worry if we haven't answered all your questions. We're going to send a follow-up. And we're going to make sure that all your questions are answered. So we're going to send you a link to the recording in the next few days. Thanks again, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the next GetResponse webinar soon. See ya!